Hey guys, welcome to the Matt and Monica podcast. In this episode, we feature the vice president of Tripp VR. Tripp has been instrumental to my wellness and mental health, well-being.
And you getting me into it
Yeah,
has helped me tremendously as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
So in this episode, we actually record in full VR. We also include shots, as you'll see, of us sitting on our couch, and we record in Meta Horizon Worlds with Jeremy. He's an incredible guy. The support from the Tripp team over the past year has been absolutely incredible.
And continuous, like, communication with us has been amazing.
Yes, and I think most importantly to me is the enthusiasm that they have for their product.
Yes.
They truly do believe in it, and a lot of what they believe in goes hand in hand, aligns with our podcast incredibly well. It's okay to not be okay.
And it's okay to reach out for help and do things to help you.
Yes.
That are healthy and
Yeah. So this is a Veterans Day special. The episode's going to be released on Veterans Day 2024, and we hope you guys enjoy it.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah. Take care.
All right. What's up, y'all?
How's
so
it
glad
going?
you made it. Come on up.
Thank you.
Really great to have you both here. This is our ancient ruin space for Tripp. I know, joined some of our Together with Tripp live events. This is one of the places where that magic happens. So let's go up into the space.
Cool. This is a new one. We haven't seen this one.
Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
And, there's a lot we will continue to expand and change and grow in here. But one little fun piece we have is these meditation cushions. So you can grab your cushion and, put it wherever you want in the space. Gives people a little agency over their space. And we always also feel like it's good to have it really clearly delineated, like what's your space, so that, no one else can be in there and you can have the space you need to. And you can also pick it up and you can have a pillow fight, which...
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Oh my gosh, that's great.
So yeah, good to have you both here. I think our plan is just to have a nice organic conversation for a little while, and really excited. I know you both have really incredible stories to tell, and dovetails really beautifully with what we're working on at Tripp. So long time coming. Really glad to be doing this with you both.
Yeah, same. We're
Likewise.
excited and thankful.
Yes, absolutely.
So, I really want to start a little bit with storytelling and get a sense for both the journeys you've been on together and separate. And so I'd love to give you both just a little space at the beginning to tell your story and let us know how we got here.
Okay. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I can go first. That's fine. I'll start from the very beginning. I had a great childhood. My parents were divorced, but I feel like I had a, pretty nice, loving, both homes and stuff like that. Grew up, went to college for a year, and then met my two daughters' father. We had my adversity, very abusive relationship for about 7 years. And that's where I think I found my strength to keep going. And in 2009, I had my two girls. They were like 2 and 3 years old. I escaped for my life, and I always have to say that my girls definitely saved me, because if it wasn't for them, I don't think something in my heart or my brain wouldn't have clicked. Like, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And we left in 2009 and just, never looked back. And 2016, met Matt and moved. I was born and raised in a little town, and we moved into this house that we have now back in 2019. 2019. And between both of us, we have 5 kids, and we're very, very busy. I work in elementary school now, and just with all the crazy, I like to call it my Hollywood, because sometimes when I think about it, I feel like it's not real, like what I went through, and it's not a part of my life anymore. And there was a lot of ups and downs, a lot of learning, a lot of mental health awareness, and how to get through certain things. And I still do work with that stuff almost daily, even though I'm not in the same place anymore. I think it is a daily thing to be aware of how I'm feeling.
Absolutely.
To not let my mental state or emotions control my day.
Yes. The
That's
work is
kind
never
of
done. No question.
no, it's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a very, very quick look at my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Appreciate you sharing and helping us
Yeah.
get the context for the larger story here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess I had also a pretty, I'd say, pretty decent life. Grew up with a mom and dad that are still together, which nowadays is very rare. And, I never really had any significant adversity growing up or anything. I had like just a very average, normal life. And then, towards my teens, I had a older sister that decided to go down a pretty dark path. And, she got into drugs. And, I say that she saved me because I think, I was at a very young teenage when she got into her issues, and it really helped me, I think, learn what to avoid and learn what not to do. And then fast forward to I had 3 children with my ex-wife, and I ended up joining the military at 27 after going through a divorce. Pretty late going into the military, and I joined the Army as a combat engineer. Did 8 years in the reserves, which no regrets. I absolutely loved my experience. Not all of it, but overall, it was definitely beneficial. And in the grand scheme of things, it definitely helped my mental fortitude and obviously physical fitness as well. But yeah, like she said, in 2016 I met her, and I truly believe that Monica was put into my life to help me get through the last 2 years of my life. Now we're going on just about 2 years of a pretty significant just brutal adversity, honestly. Yeah, outside of our control, but I've found so many things, including Tripp, that just have helped so much. And yeah, that's kind of a skinny version. But
Yeah, I appreciate the outlines, and I think outside of our control it's one of those terms where when you dig into anyone's life story for very long, you hear a couple of twists and turns that have that basic headline over it. And I think one of the things that's really special about the two of you is that you've been willing to share your story and your vulnerabilities. I mean, really share your stories with the world in a really public way.
Yeah.
And I know that's helped other people.
Yeah.
I just know that for a fact that has saved other people. Like you say, such and such a person saved me. I'm sure there's people out there talking about the two of you and what you've been doing in the same way. So really grateful for that. And I wonder if you want to share at all about how sharing that story helps you heal as well. It used to be we were all in these little silos, and it was really hard to get our stories and to really connect with people who had similar experiences. But we live in this amazing interconnected time. We're going to talk about tech here at some level, but just what is that process like for you of being vulnerable publicly and yeah.
Our first guest that we had, because we started our podcast back in the beginning of November of last year, and our first episode was just us, but then we decided to have a guest that he was my combat medic in my old unit, and he openly talked about losing 3 soldiers in Afghanistan. And then after losing 3 soldiers that he was responsible for, he then came home to going through a separation, and his significant other moving to the other side of the country with his child. And it really gave me perspective, and it kind of made me think, wow, if he's able to make it through that and be as strong of a person as he is, because this individual, Sergeant Matt Kinney, I'll name his name all day long, he's answered every call I've called over the past 2 years, and I realized the value in just being vulnerable. It allows you to enhance your connections with people, and we've been vulnerable with people that we don't even know, and we've established these connections that otherwise we never would have ever had a chance of doing.
Yeah. I also just wanted to say, during the adversity that I had, I felt like such a victim, but I was still, oddly enough, kind of like the hero mentality too, because I felt like I still had to take care of my, 2 girls, and before they were born, I still felt like I had to take care of other people that I was in, maybe same situation with. But then after the victim mentality type of thing, and then you are like the hero version, you become something different, like the guide or the light. And I feel like that's more me now instead of like the hero. I always wanted to be someone's hero forever. I just wanted to save someone or save people. And now it's more like being the guide means more to me that I'm turning into instead of just the hero. And I think there's a little bit of a mixture with the guide and the hero. They kind of like mesh together for me personally, but I want to be more of the guide and help people that way. That way, when you're the hero, sometimes you do everything for other people. You know, you're kind of like emptying your cup maybe, but as the guide, you're helping them, but you're also self-love also and taking care of yourself.
Yes.
I love that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
gorgeous. And that sense of, it just sounds like a more mature relationship with how you help people is what I hear you saying, in the sense that,
Yes.
like, when we're younger, we, of course, you want to save the world and save other people, but
Mm-hmm.
you realize at some point you can't take a step for another person, not one.
Right. Right.
Like, and I love your guide metaphor, because all you can do is maybe point in a direction that's more healthy, and maybe walk next to them while they're doing it, and
Right.
cheerlead and remind them that there are other options. And so anyways, that's a really beautiful articulation, I think, of that, turning towards a really mature way of helping people.
Yeah.
You know?
Cool.
So, I think here we are in virtual reality together, making it possible so the three of us can have this kind of embodied sense of presence here together while we have this conversation. I know you're using your podcast, which is tech in one way for good, but I'd love to hear, more about how you two think. I don't want to limit it to virtual reality, but certainly as part of the conversation, here we are wearing headsets. We are acting like we're together because we see each other's bodies here. And, I know for me, that's really a powerful experience, to not be staring at the two of you in a Google chat and seeing
Right.
you, in 2D, but to really feel like here we are together.
We're actually
This-
together, right?
We're actually together. Yeah.
So we've
So,
had
yeah,
this.
please talk a little bit about that.
We have been like trying to, set up these in-person interviews and whatnot with these individuals all over the country, a lot of Navy SEALs, Green Berets and whatnot. And I am now thinking that I'm doing this because obviously we've been in VR, but I haven't had any real conversations other than doing meditation. And this is awesome. This it feels like a personal interaction. It's incredible. And like now you got me thinking, boy, if I could get other individuals to jump on here with us, that maybe we could do this and we wouldn't have to always travel. Because it really does give me the feeling like you're right in front
We're
of me.
here. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I absolutely love, and I don't want to say obsessed with the idea, but I love the idea that if people aren't able to go anywhere, or if they don't want to go
Yes.
anywhere, if they're scared, this is such an amazing idea for them. If they don't have transportation or whatever it may be, and they can be, who they want to be in here, and kind of just be kind of anonymous, maybe in the background. And if they feel comfortable, they can, come and talk in front of people on their level of safety.
Yes.
I just think it's such an amazing idea. And I don't know why no one's like really done this before. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Unless they have, I don't know, but yeah.
I mean, some people have, but I think, the community that I know you are really trying to empower everyone to step towards more mental health, and without a small circle around that at all. But I also know that you're really, at some level, focused on veterans and the specific care needs of that context. And
Yeah.
Nenea Reeves, the CEO of Tripp, who I know the two of you know as well,
Yes.
she has a term for the experience we're having right now, which is the digital veil. And it's the name for that idea of, we are here together and we know that, but also at the same time there's some separation between us really being here, because we're actually sitting in our homes wherever we are and seeing avatars. So there's this really interesting mix of presence but anonymity. And I thought, before I first came into virtual reality, there was a good chance that would lead to people just not being real.
Yeah.
But what I found is that it actually is the opposite. It leads to people being hyper real, like more quickly and more vulnerably than they would be in real life. And so, I think in terms of the community that you're working with, and, the, incredible trauma that so many of them have dealt with, this could really be a unique and special environment for them.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. just I think them feeling safe where they won't be judged over anything
Right.
is very powerful for them.
Yeah, or given the ability to be anonymous for them, if they want to be, that would be, that's really
Yes.
cool.
It gives them time to grow their courage, maybe, if that's even the right word, to speak if they feel like they need help and want to talk, but they don't know how
Yes.
to. They can build it up slowly, baby steps to really speaking out and accepting help.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about how you first came to know about Tripp and, how your experience has been with the app and how you think that might be a part of this conversation as well.
Well, so I got to take this part of the conversation because I definitely started using it quite a bit before Monica. Actually, we only had one headset at the time. But so the beginning of 2023, we started having a very difficult year. Again, going back to adversity that's completely out of our control. And I got to a point where, I was quite broken a lot of days. I was never suicidal or anything like that, but I was very emotional and just so stressed out and worried about people that are just making decisions that are not progressive for their life by any means, to say the least. And I September of last year, I checked myself and for a mental health evaluation, and that day was, I actually talked about it on YouTube. It was my first YouTube video ever. But, it changed me, that whole experience. And I decided to focus on things that are within my control. And I realized how quick, no matter how broken I was able to fix the majority of the things going on in my life, even though I was still going through that adversity. And, physical fitness is obviously, it's so incredibly important, but so is your mental fitness and your spiritual fitness. And so I was listening to a podcast, and I got to give him some credit. Eddie Pierno's Your World Within. He's absolutely incredible. He talked about guided meditation. And it wasn't VR guided meditation, but as I'm listening to his podcast, I decided to try it out. And I am like, I got a Oculus. I know there's that Tripp app, and I believe that's something to do with meditation. So I tried it out, and I'm like, the first time I used it, I thought it was cool. And I think it was the second or third time I used it, I'm like, I realized I used it a couple times. I was absolutely broken, just so stressed out. And it was like when I say literal reset, I've never taken pills or anything my entire life for like antidepressants or anything like that. But boy, I feel like it had been damn near close. It was, you can ask Monica. She was.
I feel like when you first started using it, it was almost immediate. Like it just helped you so like immediately. I don't feel like it took you days, or months to kind of, get used to it and stuff like that. I feel like it really helped you right off the bat.
Yeah, primarily the comms. I would generally do the 10 to 15 minute, or I did a lot of the 25-minute comms as well. And the fact that you can kind of silo them to how you're feeling and customize the experience to talk to you about whatever you feel. For example, if you're like, I'm feeling the lack of confidence at my job, which I feel all too often, there's confidence trips and whatnot, and it's a technology that I think if everyone were to use it, it would literally change the world, and there's no question in my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how we started using it.
Yeah.
amazing.
And then he
Yeah.
made me, he's like, here, you try this. I used to do the sleep one a lot, which I actually haven't done the sleep one recently because I literally fall asleep with it on my head because it's like that good, which is really
That's
funny.
amazing.
But I often like to do the focus and then the calm. For some reason, it just flows for me.
Yeah,
That's great.
that's a new thing
Have
we
you-
started doing.
Yeah, but we like
I
to
know
switch
I
it up and
mentioned
try
it
the
a
different
while
things.
ago. Yeah, I was going to say, I want to get some feedback from you all on our Kokua AI meditation assistant at some
Yes.
point too. We're really
Yes.
excited about that and think it adds a whole new component, like new content anytime you need it, but also, we've had over 10 million people take a trip with Tripp, and as you know, you log that mood data at the beginning, at the end of each experience, and so we have this really good record of people who start here and end where they want to did this kind of experience.
Yeah.
And so we're
Mm-hmm.
able to train that model to help people along that similar path. And so we're really excited about the possibility of that real personal experience of like, hey, Kokua, this is where I am right now and where I'd like to be. Can you create a meditation that gets me there?
That's
So I think
incredible.
there's a lot
That's
of
amazing.
potential there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Our team's they're just brilliant. You know, they're doing really genius stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to hear. So there's Tripp, you know, as it is now, how it's supporting you and what you've experienced in VR. I'd love you two to just dream a little bit. You know, if you ruled the world and you know could instruct the Tripp team to do exactly what you wanted, or just you know run your own
Oh,
spatial wellness company, you know,
Yes.
what would you be doing? What kind of
I-
supports would you be creating? Yeah, it looks like Monica has
I
an
know
immediate
one thing. One thing popped in my head. Is we've been talking about it a lot. Is if we could have, well, it's kind of like this right now. But if like him and I could do our trip together, like in the
Yes.
same world
Yes.
during watching
Yeah.
the same thing and the same
Right.
message would be amazing because
Well,
Go
I
ahead.
just want to say to tag on to that. We have such limited time with our current lifestyle. We both work full time and stuff, and we're one of those weird relationship. We have one of those weird relationship dynamics where we actually love spending time together with everything. We would be inseparable if we could be, and you know, throwing this on our face next to each other, even if we're next to each other, you know, it still just takes. It feels like it's taking away from our time a little bit. So I'm like, man, if we could just, if we could feel like we're doing it together, I think that would change the dynamic for us so much.
well, it was to the point where we would be like, all right, did you do your, you know, how you're feeling, the mood? All right, are you ready to press submit at the same time? All right, on 3, you know, and we would do
Yes,
it like
that's so
that, so
cool.
we could at least try to do it
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yep.
Shared
Yeah.
trips, absolutely.
Yes.
That sounds
Yeah.
beautiful. Even beyond like the experience as it is, and not even just about Tripp, but like what would you dream that you know spatial reality becomes to help support mental health and wellness
Oh,
of
man.
veterans, of
You
people
know,
working teachers, I mean other servers of the world,
Yes.
like what kind of mental
It would
health
be
support
cool
should be there?
if there was like this huge room that you could just have every door was labeled like, you know, you're stressed because of something specific, and you could go in there and everyone would relate because people in there are like, oh, the same
wow,
issue
yeah.
maybe. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And like, oh, I just lost my
Connecting
dog.
with
I want to
other
go in
people who are
here.
going through
Yeah.
Yes.
Instead of just loss, you know, this room has just loss, but maybe like more specified.
how about addiction? You know, that would be a full room.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely.
Always, yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I think the sky's the limit. I just love hearing people's
Yeah.
dreams about what we could do in here. You know, if there were no, I mean, you always say like, what if there were no limitations? Well, in VR, there kind of isn't. I mean, there's the
Exactly.
limitations of what you know in terms of being a creator, but you know, with our team, we've got some pretty brilliant people. So I love to just hear people's fantasies about
Yeah.
what this could become.
Yeah.
I absolutely do love the idea of the addiction thing because I mean, it could be, you know, addiction to drugs, but it's also people have a shopping addiction or, you know, different stuff like that, you know, like their weight eating, you know, like the anorexia and a whole bunch of different types of issues like that.
Yeah.
That would be really cool to kind of specify down for people.
Yeah, that would be. Absolutely. So I think we have decided we're going to release this on Veterans Day, and it's certainly a part of what's brought us together, and a big part of your story as well. And so I wonder, really just digging down a little deeper in that community, what would you tell another veteran who hasn't discovered VR yet, how they may use it, or
So
what other ways could you imagine that VR can support veterans and their families? And
I've literally had this conversation, Jeremy, with a veteran friend of mine that he's like so many others that he's too proud to get help, and he's been through hell.
yes,
And I told him, I tried to explain to him how I have prioritized using VR Tripp in such a way that I literally will prioritize it over other things. I generally, working out's so important to me. I try to work out 3 nights a week, and I try to do a VR meditation, generally 3 to 5 times a week if I can. And I just explained it to them, I'm prioritizing this over, going to sleep earlier or watching movies, or it's so important because if people are going through hell, it's going to benefit you at least a little, and especially if you're having severe anxiety issues. I know a lot of guys that have PTSD. The anxiety's at the top of their list, and
Yeah.
it's just about a damn near cure for that.
It's
Yeah.
amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, just such an untapped resource for so many who need it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Monica,
something I
anything you
think
wanna
that
add?
isn't like it's not normally taught, like you grow up and you're like, oh, just hide your feelings, deal with your feelings. So you go to the, you're in the military and you go through all this stuff, and it's not just stuff that you're going through if you're, overseas or whatever. Stuff's going on at home too. And
Yes.
I think even, it'd be really cool if, this kind of stuff could be wherever, our military is, to communicate with families.
Mm-hmm.
Would be really, really cool too.
Yes.
But just, I think I think we really need to make it, what's the word? Just more normalized, that it's okay to feel your feelings, whether you're this big tough man or not, or this big tough woman or not, to ask for help. And slowly using VR and stuff like that, I think it would
Yes.
really let them feel more comfortable expressing, like, oh, maybe I could ask for help, or watch people ask for help and say, okay, I can ask for help.
Well, we noticed that when it comes to, the most hardened, badass people on the planet, because we've talked to multiple Navy SEALs, Green Berets over the past couple weeks, and all of them are so open about their feelings, and they're so passionate about what they're doing, and there's when you see these people that are, I would have thought these hardened people never want to talk about feelings, but they're all about it, and they're
all about
mindful
love
and
and hope.
yeah, mindfulness and hope, and if these guys can do it,
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Wonderful. Well, I wonder also, what I didn't ask, what are some ways that you have thought about, Tripp or VR in your journey or whatever that I haven't touched on? I'd love to give you a chance to just throw some of that out there as well.
I know in the past we've talked a couple times, and Monica and I have talked, we would love to have the opportunity to be able to just talk to people, and just sometimes I think the most powerful thing you can do is just listen. And you don't have to be the best at speaking. You don't have to be the smartest individual on the planet. We have talked to plenty of people that on paper we have no business talking to, and but it's so cool. And I think if we were to have the ability to do that, and maybe do group meditation with people, I wouldn't want to run it by any means, actual meditation
Yeah.
sessions, but just to get people to get in to experience this, because that's, I would say, probably 95% of the battle. It's not getting people to keep doing this. It's getting people to try VR, because I would say the vast majority of people have never tried it, or a lot of people don't even know what it
Right.
is. And
Yeah.
and even more so, there's a lot of people that have never heard of breathing exercises and the power of the breath. And I'm like, man, I'm 37 years old. I wish I knew about it when I was a kid. And I'll tell you what, my kids definitely are very aware of what, breathing exercises
great.
are and whatnot. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
one of
think
our
it's
section
really-
leaders is hired by her public school system to teach meditation
Aw.
techniques to the kids, and I'm just like, oh my god,
That's amazing.
please
Every school should
extend
do
that program to every
Yes.
public school system
For
in
real.
America.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Sorry,
Um,
Monica, please go
No,
on.
that's okay. I just wanted to say too, sometimes people connect more when they feel, I don't want to say on the same level of who they're talking to, or
Right.
like, oh, I'm talking to this doctor. They're so smart. They know everything, and they already have their life, figured out. And I'm just this person that has all these problems. So like if they talk to people like us, maybe they can connect a little bit more, and I don't know, just not feel so like down here and they're up here type of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So I think we know for a fact that like putting people in cohorts with people of shared experience for talk therapy is just such a huge benefit, right? Because like you said, if I know that you've been through what I've been through, I don't have to translate. I don't have to
Right.
wonder if you're judging me. We can assume so much already, and now we can really just get to being ourselves and put it on the table and say the things we need to. I'm really curious in this new, world of AI, how people will respond to when their conversation partner is not a real person.
Yes.
Because again, like I said, when I my assumption about going into VR where everyone would have these made up avatars and everything was that people would be more fake, but I discovered they were more real. My assumption with AI was similar, maybe that I wouldn't take the relationship seriously. But now that I'm a couple years into actually interacting semi-regularly with AI, whether it's ChatGPT or
Same here.
Midjourney or using the Kokua app, I'm starting to realize like I treat it kind of like a person.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I also know that it's not. And so kind of like I was saying with VR, I just put it all out there. And what we've seen with the prompts that we randomize it, we can't see like Matthew's prompts, but we can see general themes of what people are prompting, and we kind of get word clouds that represent themes of what's coming out. And people are really vulnerable with what they're saying to Kokua. And in a way that I would guess they're not being, even with their therapist or their husband or wife or whoever. So I'm hopeful, really hopeful that one can be a huge step for talk therapy. It's always available, right? Like you wake up at 3 in the morning in a cold sweat, and you can't call necessarily the person who you talk to, but you can bring up that AI assistant who's gotten to know you over time and knows what reassures you. So one thing I'd love to invite you two to do as part of this, editing it into this thing that we're going to share with the world from this conversation, is to record yourself both separately using Kokua in the next couple days.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just really, I would say, be open with it and record that experience and put it in here, and then share an end reflection on how that was for you, and maybe how you could see that being both useful to the future, and do you have any concerns about it, and what do those look like? So I'd love, for this conversation to end with you both trying Kokua and reflecting on a little bit.
That's a good
That'd be
idea.
amazing.
I love it.
I'd love to do that. Yeah. Oh, I did want to add one more thing.
Yeah, please, Monica.
With talking to an avatar that is AI or whatever, it might make people feel more comfortable, because that AI is not going to go run off and tell people their personal business, so maybe they would be more apt to saying more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Although
in
the
real
first
life.
thing I think of is like, I've heard of an Alexa being taken in to testify against someone who
gosh.
talked about like the crime he was going to commit in the speaking presence
my
of
gosh.
the Alexa. So it's
That's
like,
crazy.
so
Well,
it's like,
maybe
there's these good things, and then there's those concerns, and how can we build it
Okay.
so we ally those concerns, so that, like I said, for Tripp, whatever you say to our AI assistant can never be tracked back to Monica. Like we could never say Monica said these exact words on this date and time. We just know over this day we get these word clouds, right, that show us, like I said, the general themes of topics and stuff. So you can build the AI so that it's protectant of that confidentiality too. But
yes, that's very cool.
There's issues on both sides of that, right?
Yeah.
That's
Cool.
incredible.
Yeah.
Well, I feel just really grateful to the two of you, both for what you're doing. Like I said, sharing your story with the world is, I think, one of the greatest gifts that we can give. The way that you've connected, our mission at Tripp into what you're doing just means a whole lot to the whole team. Our team does this because we care deeply about bringing meditation to more people. We really think it's this incredible healing technology, and we think there's so many people who need it that just can't find it through traditional means.
Yeah.
And so you two really represent, I think, our highest hopes for how people can use the tool that we're continuing to unfold, but also to help use that then in whole other ways than we had imagined, and sharing it with the public as you have in your story. So on behalf of the whole team, we're just so grateful for what you're doing, and really want to end on that note of just absolute gratitude for the two of you and the work that you're doing in this world.
That makes my
Yeah.
heart so
We
happy,
appreciate
and we
it.
are so thankful to be a part of it.
Yeah, you guys have been
Yeah.
great, and Nene has
Yeah.
been great.
Yeah.
And, and we appreciate your product, and I like how
gosh, yes.
enthusiastic you and Anea are about it, because you can
Yes.
tell when somebody's enthusiastic. That's so important to me, when they genuinely care, and I know you guys actually do.
Yeah, and believe in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, beautiful. Thank you both so much. I'm going to hit the stop record button on my end. We can still stick around here and.
Welcome to Tripp. Hello. What's going on for you right now?
I tend to feel very overwhelmed when a lot is going on, and I need to manage my stress and my time management. I do breathing exercises, but sometimes I just get so overwhelmed I don't really know what to do.
It's completely understandable to feel overwhelmed when juggling many responsibilities. Breathing exercises are a wonderful start, and it's great that you're already practicing them. Let's create a reflection to help you find balance and ease during these busy times. In moments of overwhelm, take a gentle pause and bring your awareness to the present moment. Begin by taking a deep breath in, feeling the air fill your lungs, and then slowly exhale, releasing any tension you might be holding. Imagine each breath as a wave washing over you, bringing calm and clarity. As you breathe, allow yourself to acknowledge that it's okay to feel this way. It's a natural response to life's demands. Now, visualize a path before you, where each step represents a task or responsibility. Instead of focusing on the entire journey, bring your attention to just the next step. Trust that you have the strength and capability to handle one thing at a time. With each breath, let go of the need for perfection and embrace the idea of progress. Remember, it's perfectly okay to ask for help or take breaks when needed. You are doing your best, and that is enough. Let this moment be a reminder that you are resilient and capable of navigating through any storm. Has your mood changed at all?
Yes, many of the words that you are using to explain that my feelings are validated, that it's okay basically for self-care and to take my time, it's like taking baby steps. It makes me feel a lot better that I know I'm trying my best, and that is okay.
It's truly heartening to hear that the reflection resonated with you and brought some comfort. Remember, taking baby steps is a powerful way to nurture yourself, and acknowledging your efforts is a beautiful form of self-care. Thank you for sharing your experience. We hope this reflection supported you on your journey today.
I love the fact that I feel like I am being heard and understood.
It's wonderful to hear that you feel heard and understood. Your feelings and experiences are important, and it's a privilege to support you on your journey.
Thank you for this time.
Thank you for sharing your journey with us. Take care and remember, you're doing wonderfully. We hope this moment brought you support and peace. Welcome to Tripp. Hello. Share what's on your mind, and we'll create a reflection just for you.
My wife and I are going to be on a local news station tomorrow. We're pretty nervous, but excited.
Your positive attitude is heartwarming to hear. Embrace the excitement and know that it's natural to feel a bit nervous. Let's create a reflection to help you both feel centered and confident for your big moment. Take a moment to acknowledge the blend of excitement and nerves you're feeling. This is a wonderful opportunity, and it's okay to feel both emotions. As you prepare, imagine a warm golden light surrounding you and your wife, filling you with confidence and calm. With each breath in, draw in positivity and assurance. With each breath out, release any tension or doubt. Picture yourself speaking clearly and authentically, sharing your message with ease. Remember that your story is valuable and deserves to be heard. Trust in your preparation and the connection you share. Let this experience be a celebration of your journey together. Embrace the moment with joy and courage, knowing you are ready to shine. Now that you've taken this time to reflect, how are you feeling in this moment?
Feeling pretty great.
It's wonderful to hear that you're feeling great. Thank you for sharing your experience.